with Him, but are you a stronger Christian today because of your prayer life? Not your pastor's prayer life, not your wife's or your husband's prayer life, not your friends and your buddies' prayer life, but your prayer life. In other words, I just mentioned that prayer is you and I communicating with God. It is a means of communication. Well, that communication, relationships are made stronger, but you know, if you hang out with somebody long enough, stuff's going to rub off on you. I mean, what I'm saying is, I know some of us have stronger personalities than others, and sometimes there are some among us that are more followers than they are leaders, and I understand that, but I'm just going to be honest with you. If you hang around with somebody long enough, I don't care what your personality is, you're going to pick up some type of tick, some kind of trait, some kind of something from that other person or persons. It's just going to rub off on you. Spend enough time with people, you can't help it. Right? Do you love people more like He does? See, if you spend any time with the Lord in prayer, one thing He's going to teach you is how to love.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
He's going to teach you and I how to love, and He's going to teach you and I how to love other people. I just wonder if the time we have spent with Him has caused you and I to love people like He does. This time in prayer that you and I spend with Him, has it taught you how to forgive others like He does? Do you still hold grudges? Do you still, you bury the hatchet, but you leave the handle sticking out of the ground so you can reach and get it over and over again? You can't ever get over things you have never really forgiven. You use that word, but in your heart there is still hate, and there's malice, and there's anger, and there's just all this. It's hard for me to believe that people like that are praying at all. Oh, they may say they love Jesus. They may come and sing in the choir, and they may shout while the preacher's preaching, but I don't know if they're praying, because you can't spend time with someone who knows everything there is to know about forgiveness and who has forgiven you, and you harbor all those things in your heart. It just doesn't make any sense to me. This time spent with God, can I ask you this? Are you more long-suffering than you used to be? I'll move on in a minute. I'm just trying to get up here. We got so many excuses to the Christian life about why we don't do this, and why we can't do that, and how we can't overcome the spirit of our mom or the spirit of our dad that we, so lived around so long. Hey, Jesus is bigger than all of those things in our life. And if He lives on the inside and you're communicating with Him, you're spending time around Him. It's amazing how people want you to be long-suffering with them. But man, they don't have any patience for you. How is it with your patience? Most of us, if we sit longer than a minute and a half in a drive-through restaurant, man, we're so tore up. I'm going to tell you this. Your home may be intact. Your marriage may be intact. Listen, your children may be living right, doing right to the best of their ability that they can. There may be a lot of things good. You may be dressing right, and you may be listening to the right music. But if you have a sorry attitude, you have no patience with, please don't go to pastor if you don't have any patience. I'm begging you. Because the one thing they cannot teach you in Bible college is how to manage personalities. It's not sermon preparation, friend. It is not preaching 3 times a week. It's not, those things are laborious and they can be hard at times. But I'm going to tell you where a real pastor, where the rubber meets the road, is when you are trying to manage multiple personalities. This person sees this one way, and this person sees it a different way, and you're trying to get them to come together. without killing each other.
Yeah.
So, how's your prayer life this morning? I may not get past the first point this morning, but if I don't, that'll be fine. We talked about intercessory prayer, but this morning here, when we come to our text, the Bible is showing us, hey, Samuel's here. The Lord remembered her. She's conceived. God's given her a son. He has touched her now. God has answered her prayer. She has now weaned him. She's brought him to the house of God. She is going to drop him off and leave him there as she told the Lord she would. I want to preach on this thought for just a few minutes. What to do once Samuel is born. What to do once Samuel is born. Now this right here is not in the message. It's in another message that I'm not going to preach obviously this week, so I want to just throw this out as I ease into this first point. But I just want to say to you this morning, as a child of God, our prayer life, our Christian life, let me say it this way, our Christian life, as we move through the years of our Christianity and our walk with God, our Christian life, our pathway should be littered with the prayers that God has answered for you and for me. I'm afraid that I'm going to get to the judgment seat of Christ, and there's going to be some places in my Christian life along this journey, almost 30 years now, where there are just places there that are empty, that are void. There's nothing there because I have lapsed. I have been unfaithful. I have not trusted Him. I have not sought His face and believed that He would. Our Christian life, Hannah, her life is littered with God answering prayers for her. Our Christian life should be littered with God's answer to our prayers. We ought to be able to look back through the journey and see the hand of God at work in our life because we've asked Him to. Real quick, can I ask you this? When's the last time you've asked God to do anything? When's the last time you trusted God to do something that nobody else could possibly? When's the last time somebody said, well, it's got to be this way, but you knew there was a God in heaven who could make it that way, and so you quit believing in what some man said or somebody, and you asked God to do something that was beyond human comprehension. Good. What to do once Samuel's born? Well, we're seeing that in the verses that I read to you between verse 24 and verse number 28. We'll say these to you and I'm done. Get out of the way. I want to hear Brother Randy. I was getting ready to come Sunday. One of the young ladies in our church, I guess she's about 11 years old or so. I asked her, I said, are you coming with us to the camp meeting this week? She said, no, I've got school. I could tell she was upset about it, so I was trying to encourage her. I said, well, school? I said, who cares about school? I said, we're going to camp meeting. She said, I know. She said, and my favorite preacher's going to be there. Well, I thought, well, honey, I'm standing right here. I mean, I'm your pastor. I said, really? I said, who's that? I said, who's that? And she said, she was trying to say, she said, Southern. So she couldn't get, for some reason, she was hung up on his name. And she said, are they ever going